Multiple news reports say New York City Mayor Eric Adams has been indicted on federal charges, and both Israel and Hezbollah have rejected a ceasefire proposal, raising fears of a broader war in the Middle East. Good morning, I'm Corva Coleman from NPR News, and here are today's top stories. Forecasters say Hurricane Helene will likely make landfall later today on Florida's Gulf Coast. Heavy rain is already falling inland, and there are warnings of a life-threatening storm surge. Helene's heavy rain will impact states farther north. All of Tennessee is under a flood watch or wind advisory. Multiple news reports say New York City Mayor Eric Adams has been indicted on federal charges. From member station WNYC, Bridget Bergen reports the apparent indictment is still under seal.
News of the indictment comes after nearly a year of investigations into New York City Mayor Eric Adams' election campaign and city government. In response, he released a video statement insisting any potential charges are based on lies, leaks, and rumors meant to undermine him.
Make no mistake, you elected me to lead this city, and lead it I will. I humbly ask for your prayers and your patience as we see this through.
The mayor insists he will not resign, despite an increasing number of calls for him to step aside. For NPR News, I'm Bridget Bergen in New York.
The campaign of former President Donald Trump says he has been briefed on an alleged Iranian plot to kill him. NPR's Stephen Fowler reports Trump addressed that threat while campaigning yesterday in North Carolina.
At a manufacturing facility outside of Charlotte, Trump said if he were in charge and these threats happened, he'd tell Iran or the country in question
that if you do anything to harm this person, we are going to blow your largest cities and the country itself to smithereens. We're going to blow it to smithereens. You can't do that.
In his remarks before a crowd of manufacturing workers, Trump also reiterated his proposal to enact tariffs and cut corporate taxes to lure jobs back to the U.S., a move economists say would likely raise prices and lead to retaliation. Stephen Fowler, NPR News, Mint Hill, North Carolina.
Israeli officials have rejected a possible ceasefire with Hezbollah in Lebanon. The U.S. has proposed a 21-day ceasefire plan. Israeli leaders say they will continue to fight. Lebanon's prime minister is warning of a broader war in the Middle East if the hostilities continue. NPR's Ader Peralta has more from Beirut.
For the past week, Israel and Hezbollah have been trading fire across Lebanon's southern border. Israeli airstrikes have killed more than 500 people, according to Lebanon's health ministry. At the UN Security Council, Lebanese Prime Minister Najib Mikati warned if this violence continues, a war could engulf the whole region. Mikati said he hoped to return home with a Security Council declaration calling for, quote, an end to this aggression and respect for Lebanese sovereignty. The U.S., France, and other allies are calling for a 21-day ceasefire, but Hezbollah has said they will not sign a ceasefire until there is a pause to the war in Gaza. That prospect seems unlikely in the near term. Ader Peralta, NPR News, Beirut.
Just days before a Kentucky sheriff allegedly gunned down a local judge, the sheriff was questioned in a lawsuit regarding sexual abuse inside the courthouse. As NPR's Frank Langfitt reports from Lexington, Kentucky police have yet to provide a motive for last week's killing.
The lawsuit claims that Letcher County Sheriff Mickey Steins knew or should have known that a former deputy was sexually abusing a female drug defendant. Stein has denied any knowledge of the crimes. Ned Pillersdorf, an attorney for the woman, said the atmosphere during questioning was tense.
He was agitated. He was generally defensive. But in fairness to Sheriff Steins, he defended his conduct.
3 days later, Steins allegedly shot Judge Kevin Mullins to death. Steins has pleaded not guilty. There's no indication that the cases are connected, but the shooting occurred in the judge's chambers, as did, allegedly, some of the abuse when the judge was not there. Frank Langfitt, NPR News, Lexington, Kentucky.
You're listening to NPR.